Hey guys, my name is Elizabeth Mastro. I am doing my project on representation in the media, more specifically on real beauty representation in the media and advertising. So something that I've been really passionate about basically since it was brought to light in the mid-2000s was the Dove campaign for real beauty. And then the Aerie campaign, the Aerie Real campaign that started in about 2014 following the Dove campaign. I've always thought that it was such a special and beautiful thing that these companies kind of took a stance on something our society's had a lot of problems with recently. And I'm very passionate about this topic because I feel that the media has progressively created an awful, unrealistic expectation to how both women and men's bodies should look. So this project kind of took a turn that I wasn't expecting once I started doing research on what I wanted to talk about. What I didn't have any knowledge of previously to doing the research for this project was something that really got on my nerves. So I found out that the company that owns Dove also owns both SlimFast, which is a very well-known weight loss company, and Axe, which for anyone that doesn't really know too much about Axe's advertising techniques, they basically rely on sex appeal as their #1 marketing tactic. So don't you think that's a bit strange? I mean, not even taking Axe into account, but just taking the fact that SlimFast and, Dove that is doing this True Beauty campaign, they're owned by the same company. It's a little bit contradictory. And it really made me wonder if the campaign for real beauty had any moral foundation whatsoever, or if it was just a marketing ploy. Here are some images of advertisements for Dove's campaign for real beauty. After doing even more research into Dove and kind of how they started this campaign, I ended up finding that they saw some worldwide statistics that came back saying that only 2% of women view themselves as beautiful. So they kind of saw that and jumped on it big time. And if you ask me, I definitely think that was the push for the campaign and not the overall need for body positivity in our society currently. Because of the success of this campaign, several other companies picked up a similar angle and tried to market their products in a very similar way, kind of focusing on body positivity. Aerie was the next company that really kind of took a stance on the representation of women's bodies in the media. I've really gotten behind Aerie, even more so after learning that their campaign is seemingly legitimate and not solely backed by advertising techniques. They very openly advertise that they don't airbrush their models whatsoever. Aerie sells a ton of clothing with positive slogans for body positivity, and they do a ton of outreach. One of Aerie's top models, Iskra Lawrence, if I'm saying her name correctly, is even a spokesperson for NEDA, which is the National Eating Disorder Association, and Aerie is actually NEDA's #1 sponsor. Their two most common slogans are Aerie Real and The Real You is Sexy. And their website even says, "It's more than no retouching. It's about loving your real self. It's about empowerment. We want everyone to feel confident inside and out." I don't deny that this was probably picked up as a marketing ploy after they saw how successful Dove's campaign was, but they're definitely doing a better job at honestly spreading body positivity at a age group that pretty much needs it the most and is the most impressionable, which is preteens and teenagers. I feel as though that they're doing legitimate good within this movement. Now, what I also found interesting is that if you go back and compare Victoria's Secret models from like the early and mid-2000s to now, there is definitely a clear difference in their appearance, but this is definitely still not realistic. Although there's not a massive difference, there is definitely a difference between the Victoria's Secret models in the early 2000s as compared to now. It is nice knowing that they're not promoting eating disorders and body image issues as severely as they did, back in the day in the early 2000s and mid-2000s. I definitely believe that their change in body representation is a direct result from the success of both Dove and Aerie's campaigns. Of course, since Victoria's Secret is still a huge company, they don't really want to fall behind on the market probably, and that's why they've made changes recently to kind of reflect what's been going on in our society. No matter what the motives are though, I think that these campaigns, obviously starting with Dove and then Aerie about a decade later, I think they both have really made an impact on our society and our general acceptance of all body types. This has at least got the ball rolling. Now, knowing the story behind their decision to push body positivity in their advertising, I'll definitely think twice about the representation of products and companies and what they stand for in the media.